So we arrived finally at Bohol port at around 6 AM. We were first to offload. Still dark, there's no point taking any video. So since then I've driven down alone for the last part of the journey down to Cebu city. I'm all checked in and bought my ticket to go to Tubigon on the car ferry at 1 PM. So it's now only 9:15, so I've got a little bit of time, and let me grab some things in one of the local shops. So there's the terminal behind for the passengers. I'm assuming the ferry comes in on this bit. I'm just to the park up here. So nearly there. Only taken 4 days. All boarded, so let's go to the business class lounge and enjoy the 2-hour journey. Well, the light ferry was very clean, tidy, very professionally run, with a nice onboard canteen, and what impressed me also, there was a full safety video, which is a complete contrast to the shipping line that we've just been saying with the co-shipping line. So take note guys, this is how you should be running it. I thought it was a really nice touch of the crew, and it made things seem so great after such a tough journey. Nice cup of coffee, sit back and watch the sea and snooze a little bit more. So finally, after 5 days, finally back home with the car. So it's having a wash before we go out and get something to eat. So, a recap of the journey. Would I do it again? Yes, probably. Even though it was 4 days, but it was an adventure and I did enjoy it in a perverse sort of way. Would I do the same way? Would I go the same way? No, definitely not. Would I use the same shipping line, the main one, KHO? No, I wouldn't. When we spoke to a lot of the lorry drivers and other people since we got back, everybody suggested that the other way you go is down the west coast or the west side of the Philippines. It looks more broken up and bitty, but we've been told the ferries are more reliable, and the journeys for the ferries are, except for one which is a little bit longer, are shorter than the ones we did. So we would go down to Batangas, I think it's called, in the south, just south of Manila, the capital, and then get a ferry across and go down island hopping that way. Still the same amount of ferries, but yeah, I'd like to think it was less stressful. The problem we had going down through Leyte from Luzon, etc., it's the main route that all the heavy lorry traffic, truck traffic uses throughout to supply the Philippines, and the problem with that, they drive like crazy, and what we were doing, we were like latching onto a lorry whenever we could in the dark, for the simple reason being they knew where the potholes and stuff were in the roads. So if you see them swerve out, then basically you swerve out to follow them, because you know they're doing it for a reason, even if it doesn't look like there is, you know, from when you're following somebody in the dark at 3 in the morning. Yeah, I mean, one thing that surprised me is the lack of travel infrastructure connecting the Philippines, particularly on the shipping side. There is it's screaming out for like a roll-on, roll-off style ferry, like you get between the UK and Europe, where you know you just turn up, you book your ticket, you drive on, no hassles, not millions of paperwork, have a meal on board, and then you're in Europe in a, you know, an hour to 4 hours, depending which link you've taken. But here it seems like the ferries are overbooked because you know, they were fully booked because the demand is there. The standard of the ferries, until I got to the last one, just doesn't seem to be up to scratch, and there's not really this roll-on, roll-off thing to make it much more simpler. It does explain why it takes so long to get some things we order, etc., when you live in the Visayas, and outside of the main area in the Philippines in the north. So yes, I would do it again, plan it a different way. If I did buy a car, obviously it would have to be a bargain, because overall I'm estimating it's cost around 25,000 pesos to bring the car back, which is about 50,000. No, it's not 50,000, which is about sort of $500. So, you know, around about 300 pounds, something like that. So it still made it viable to do, if you can get the right deal. But and also would plan it more around ferry times. The thing to really watch out for if you're going to consider doing any journey is that there's no published ferry times anywhere. If the times are published, when it comes to car, there's the freight type ferries and the car ferries, they don't stick to timetables at all, the ones we were on, except the light ferry. The last ferry, the light company, can't sing their praises high enough. Everything was on time, everything was professional, a really high standard. But the others, it just seems that timetable and stuff was there just as for show, because it just seemed to sail back and forward when it felt like it. So plan that, but also we would plan around more, I would plan more around arriving somewhere for maybe an overnight hotel stay, or at least, you know, an early part stay, so you leave at 3 in the morning or something, just to sort of not make the journey so strenuous, because sleeping in the car was not comfortable. Even though the seats recline and they're nice comfy leather ones with headrests, it's not that good for sleeping. So, you know, there was one night in a hotel and that was it over the 4 days. The rest was either driving or sleeping in the car. So but yeah, overall was an adventure. I'm glad I did it. I'm not too sure my friend Chris would do it with me again. I got to thank him big style for coming with me, volunteering, and he went to his resort in Bantayan Island. That's why he wasn't with me on the very last part of the journey, so I used that as a sort of a ride down, but I'm sure he would prefer to take the plane in future. So yeah, thanks for that, Chris. But yeah, I would do it again. Life's all about adventure, not sitting home. But thank you for watching, and like and subscribe, as they say, and let's see where my next adventure takes me.